If you have recently attended the TCS NQT exam and you are hoping for the prime role, or maybe you are already received an interview mail, then this video can save you a lot of confusion. Because today I am going to share a complete TCS Prime interview experience, starting from the assessment result stage till the final interview questions that were asked. And trust me, some of the questions asked in the interview may surprise you. Before we start, let's clear one confusion that many students have. After completing the TCS NQT assessment, your performance determines which interview category you may be shortlisted for. Generally speaking, if you have solved both coding questions successfully and performed well in the aptitude, reasoning, and verbal sections, you have higher chances of getting shortlisted for Prime. If you have partially solved coding questions and scored reasonably well in MCQs, you may be considered for digital. And if your coding performance is comparatively low, you may be considered for Ninja. Now, this is not an official cutoff, but it is a pattern observed by many candidates. In this particular experience, the student had solved both coding questions successfully, and for MCQ sections, he attempted almost every question. And for MCQ questions, since there was no negative marking, even questions that he wasn't completely sure about were attempted. After a few days, he received a mail from TCS regarding the next stage. The first step was filling an application form. Then another survey mail arrived asking him to choose his preferred interview location, and he selected Bangalore. After that, the final interview mail arrived, and this mail is extremely important because it contains details such as interview location, reporting time, role information, required documents. And this is where many students make mistakes. Please read the entire mail carefully. Documents mentioned included application form, original Aadhaar card, SSLC marks card, PUC marks card, engineering marks cards, and degree certificate. Carry both original and copies wherever possible. Now let's talk about the actual interview day. The reporting time mentioned was 8:45 am. The student reached the venue on time, but here's something important. Don't expect the interview to start immediately. There were hundreds of candidates, and document verification itself took a significant amount of time. In fact, he waited for almost 1.5 hours before the verification process was started. Inside the auditorium, TCS team members were verifying every candidate's documents. They carefully checked all educational records, so make sure your documents are arranged properly. This creates a good impression and avoids unnecessary delays. After verification, candidates were assigned interview panels. Different panels were handling different roles. For this particular candidate, he was assigned panel number 2, and this panel was focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning related hiring. Now came the waiting phase. Each interview was taking approximately 25 to 30 minutes because technical, managerial, and HR rounds were all happening together. And now, the part everyone is waiting for: what exactly did they ask? The interview started with the most common questions, like tell me about yourself. After that, they directly moved to the projects. And not just project names, they wanted detailed explanation. For every project mentioned, he had to explain the objective of the projects and the technologies used and how it worked internally and the challenges along with results. And naturally, follow-up questions were asked based on the explanation. Then came coding. The interviewer asked him to write the logic for a sorting algorithm, that was bubble sort. They also asked basic coding problems such as finding the largest element in an array and Fibonacci series code likewise. The goal wasn't to test advanced competitive programming. They wanted to check whether the candidate understood programming fundamentals. SQL was another major focus area. The interviewer asked SQL queries to be written on paper. Topics included joins, different types of SQL commands, purpose of each command category. So, if SQL is mentioned in your resume, prepare it thoroughly. There was another interesting section, that was the interviewer asked him to write portions of code used inside his project. For example, if he had used NumPy or Pandas, he was expected to write basic snippets and explain their functionality. This clearly shows why you should never mention technologies you don't understand. After technical questions, the discussion shifted towards managerial thinking. Some questions asked were, why should we hire you? What if we assign you a testing role for 3 years even though you are interested in AI/ML? What makes you different from other candidates? And what if we move you to a support role? How far do you think AI can go beyond humans? Notice something. These questions are not checking technical knowledge. They are checking attitude. They want to know whether you are flexible, whether you are willing to learn, and how you think about challenges. Finally, the interviewer asked, do you have any questions for us? And this is where many students make a mistake. They simply say no, but he asked a very good question. what kind of work is usually assigned to freshers. And the interviewer's response was interesting. They explained that it depends on the role. For prime candidates, there is a possibility of getting into projects more quickly, whereas digital and ninja candidates may undergo training phases before project allocation. After the interview was completed, the candidate was informed that results could be communicated through email, and approximately 2 weeks later, the final status would be shared. So if you are preparing for a TCS Prime interview, focus on 4 things that are self-introduction, project in depth, basic coding, SQL fundamentals, and most importantly, prepare for managerial questions because many students focus only on technical preparation and completely ignore this section. If you are attending a TCS Prime, Digital, or Ninja interview, share your experience in the comments. It may help hundreds of students preparing right now. And if your interview is still pending, drop your doubts below. I will try to help as many of you as possible. All the best for your TCS interview. That's it for today. Thank you guys.